In the last two videos, we looked at activities for rhythm review and melody review. So now let's combine both of those into a summative activity where students are going to kind of synthesize everything that we have worked on so far. And in this case, it's a summative activity for ta, ta-di, and ta rest for rhythm, and sol, la, sol, mi, and sol, mi, la for melody. To do this, let's use the song Bluebells, Cockleshells, and the song goes like this. Bluebells, cockleshells, Evie, ivy over, my mother sent me to the store, and this is what she sent me for: salt, mustard, vinegar, pepper. And in this case, my mother sent me to the store to get salt, mustard, vinegar, and pepper. This is a jump rope game from England. It's very, very old. Children have been playing it for a really long time. And each of those items, salt, mustard, vinegar, pepper, those correspond to jump rope actions. So salt is turning the rope very slowly. Mustard vinegar is like a normal speed. And then pepper is the fun one. That's where you go as fast as you possibly can. So just to get the lay of the land here, we have a set of rhythmic concepts and melodic concepts that we are using. Why this song? This whole thing is sol, mi, la, bluebells, cockleshells, Evie, ivy over. So the whole thing is a sol, mi, la, ta, ta-di song, right? And then the other elements that are not included there, we are going to add in with rhythmic building blocks and melodic cells, which we will talk about here in a moment. So we have our concepts, we have our song. What are we going to do with it? We are going to work as an ensemble, as a musical team, to arrange melodic cells and create a B section to the song. And how will we know that we have done this task? In this activity, the main thing that we want to see is how students visually and aurally identify these patterns in those melodic cells and the rhythmic building blocks. And then two, how much flexibility they have and how accurate they are as they mix up the patterns to arrange something new while we are working together as an ensemble. So two things there, the flexibility and the accuracy. I want to see both of those happening at the same time. So we could just sing the song and play the game and then throw up those melodic cells and jump straight to this final summative activity. Or we can kind of take a path to review what we've done so far. So let's take like the windy review path. So let's start with the song and the game. And we're actually going to back up from the game and do some steady beat work and some solo singing work first before we get to the actual traditional game. For this, we are all seated in a circle together. Students are listening to the song for the first time. This is how we teach the song. And we are patting a steady beat while the teacher sings, bluebells, cockleshells. And at the end of the song, we're going to ask, what did I get sent to the store to get? What did my mother or my uncle or my brother or my grandma, whoever sent me to the store, it doesn't have to be the mother every single time. So what did I go to the store to get? And students are going to give us suggestions. So maybe they say that you got sent to the store to get pizza and let's say pizza and chocolate chips and ice cream and spaghetti. Oh my goodness, that sounds like a very unusual meal, but it's on the list, so I will do it. I might sing pizza, chocolate chips, ice cream, spaghetti. Or I can show how I can mix those up. So I might say as well, pizza, chocolate chips, ice cream, spaghetti. Or pizza, chocolate chips, ice cream, spaghetti. Or you like a million different variations, right? Pizza, chocolate chips, ice cream, spaghetti. So showing all of the different ways that we can mix up these different foods. It doesn't have to be the same exact melodic contour every single time. Okay, so we're going to keep a steady beat. Then let's pass a ball around to the steady beat. That's like the next transfer of this skill. Bluebells, cockleshells, Evie, ivy over, my mother sent me to the store, and this is what she sent me for. Then the next four people who have the ball, each of them sings one item. So someone might say, pizza, chocolate chips, ice cream, spaghetti. And they don't need to specifically use a so me, la tone set. Anything in their singing voice is going to be totally, totally fine. So backing up here just a little bit, when we are doing just the steady beat activity where we're padding a steady beat and students give us the grocery store items, we can spend a while on that, modeling all of the different kind of variations of this melody that we can create with the 4 grocery store items. And that on its own can certainly take up an entire lesson segment. If that's all we do in that first day, that is totally, totally enough. And then we add the ball passing game after that when we sense that students are ready. And what I like about this game as like kind of a scaffold for this set of review activities in particular is that ball passing games are such a good way to illustrate what it means for us to all work together in an ensemble, right? Where we are all part of the group and we all have to work together. So thinking back to our big idea here from the past 2 videos, this is a nice way to practice ensemble skills. And now let's get into the actual game. I mentioned that this is a jump rope game, and students are going to come to music class with varying levels of experience with jumping rope. So there are a few ways that we can do this. One is to take one end of the jump rope and you tie it to like a doorknob or somewhere else in the classroom, and the teacher takes the other end and we are the one turning the rope. Another thing that you can do is have another student hold the separate end of the jump rope and you guys are working together. When students are actually jumping, some of them by early 2nd grade, some of them will be able to actually jump rope and you can go over their head with it and you can like actually play the game in something like the traditional way. For other students, we can work up to that because jumping rope is a skill that takes a good amount of practice. It feels like play, but it does take some practice. So instead of going over students' heads with that jump rope, you just push it around, you push it along the floor back and forth, and students are jumping over like that. So the rope never goes up, it kind of stays on the floor, and they're just practicing the motion of jumping over it like this, okay? And that can be either a 2-foot jump like this, or if that is even a little bit much, they can take a leap. So 1 foot leaves the ground first. Okay, so several different options to kind of scaffold this so that students have some amount of success. They can still try it, even if they are not, walking into 2nd grade with a lot of jump rope skills. It is still a really, really, really fun game. So now let's think about the melodic contour of this song. Bluebells, cockle shells, Evie, ivy over. At that Evie, ivy over. I'm taking my hands, I'm tracing the melodic contour. A really fun thing to do is to spin in a circle. Evie, ivy, spin around, just to add something fun there. So now that we've gone through some like physical movements to match the melodic contour, let's think about what we have been hearing. So starting at the beginning of the song, bluebells, cockle shells, I'm showing you the body solfege already. Yes, that's so and me. How do you know? Okay, this is very old news by this point, but it sounds like the high and low sounds that we know as so and me. What about that interesting part where we turn around with our hands in the air? Evie, ivy, over. Are those the same sounds? No, one of them is different because one of them is higher. And in this class, what do we call that high sound? We call it la. Great. So now let's sing that on solfege. So me, so me, so me, la, so me. And if students need to kind of back up and check their work, we can do that by showing the melodic contour on the board and then transferring that to solfege with our body solfege signs. So we've done a good amount of melodic work at this point, right? So now let's switch our focus to some rhythmic work. And you'll recall that at the beginning of this activity, students were just giving us whatever grocery store items they wanted, and we kind of just took it and ran with it, right? Now let's narrow in what we are going to get from the grocery store to jam, chocolate chips, ice cream, bell peppers, cauliflower. Lots of things here. Again, another strange meal, but we don't know what's for dinner, right? Something involving all of these things. With these cards, we are going to clap a rhythm and students hold up fingers to show which rhythm they heard. So there are several different ways to kind of scale this back or make it a little bit more challenging. If we want to make it like as easy peasy as possible, we would say ta, and students hold up a 1. Or we would say ta, toddy, and students hold up a 4, because we can see on the screen, like we're giving students the answer with our rhythm syllables, right? Another really helpful thing to do is for students to give that rhythm back to us. So we do a rhythm and they echo it back. So I might say ta, toddy, students, echo. I do it again, ta, toddy, students, echo. I might do it a third time, ta, toddy, students, echo. Show me your answer on your forehead, go. Great, so that's a way to make it like a little bit more time bound. And again, the echoing back is really helpful. To make it a little bit more challenging, I would take away the rhythm syllable. So I might say, students echo it back. Students echo it back. Might do it a third time. Students echo it back. Now show me your answer on your forehead, go. Okay, so that's the process for identifying these rhythms. Now, in this process, if we find out students could use a little bit more reinforcement of these rhythmic concepts, we can still use this song and use this activity, but we'll back up a little bit. So here I have those same cards: ice cream, jam, cauliflower, bell peppers, chocolate chips. And we can hang out here creating arrangements: cauliflower, cauliflower, ice cream, jam. Cauliflower, cauliflower, ice cream, jam. Let's clap it. Cauliflower, cauliflower, ice cream, jam. Pat the steady beat. Cauliflower, cauliflower, ice cream, jam. Great. So this is actually practice for the summative assessment we're going to do here in a moment. But like I said, if we find out that students could use some practice just with rhythmic stuff, this is a nice way to keep the activity going, but take a little step back and kind of do a previous scaffold here. Okay, so we have all of these rhythmic building blocks. We can arrange them in some type of elemental form, meaning some type of repetition in the pattern. And let's say bell, peppers, chocolate chips, jam, jam. And we can hang out here just creating rhythmic B sections. And then eventually, if I move on to the next slide, we can ask students to figure out which rhythmic notation set goes with which card. And we do that by thinking about how many sounds we hear on each beat. So ice cream has 2 steady beats. How many sounds are on each beat? Ice cream, 1 sound on each beat. And in this class, what do we call 1 sound on a beat? We call that ta. So we would know that ice cream matches ta, ta. What about cauliflower? Cauliflower, 2 steady beats there too. Cauliflower, how many sounds do you hear on each beat? Cauliflower, 2 sounds on each beat. So in this class, what do we call 2 sounds on 1 beat? We call that toddy. So this is toddy, toddy, right? So again, just a way to back it up if we sense that that's what students need. Now, if we are rocking and rolling and ready to go, students are all over it, then we can keep going to the melodic section of this summative assessment. And to get our ears kind of wrapped around our melodic options here, we're going to do that same rhythmic identification activity, but now we're introducing some melodies. These are the same rhythms that we had before, but we're kind of making it a little bit more challenging, adding in a different layer. So again, there are ways to scaffold this back, ways to add a little bit more challenge. If I wanted to go the easiest route, then I would sing so, so, mi, la. Students, sing it back. So, so, mi, la. Students, sing it back. So, so, mi, la. Students, sing it back. Put your answer on your forehead, go. And this card is number 2. That's really easy because I'm giving you this sign both verbally with the solfege syllables and with my hand signs. So if I want to make it a little bit more challenging, I would sing it on a neutral syllable. Loo, 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 students, sing it back. Loo, 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 loo. So I'm giving you the neutral syllable, but I'm keeping the solfege hand signs, the body solfege signs rather. And if I want to make it the most challenging, then I would just sing loo, 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 students, echo back. Loo, 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 students, echo back. Okay, so we can do both solfege with body solfege signs. We can do neutral syllable with body solfege signs, or just neutral syllables, and students are on their own with their ears. Okay, so we're gonna orally identify what all of these cards sound like so that we can mix them up. So here, let's make our own grocery store list, because some of these I like more than others. Like maybe I really like jam, jam, chocolate chips, jam, ooh, jam, jam, chocolate chips, jam. And we can demonstrate how to move these on the board. I have these lined up in Google Slides so that they will kind of click and attach to this bottom line here. That way everything is kind of aligned here. Again, I'm using some repetition here. I'm using an elemental form because that really helps our ears hang on to what we are doing. Or I might say I want bell peppers ice cream, bell peppers jam. Let's try it. Bell peppers ice cream, bell peppers jam. It might look like bell peppers ice cream, ice cream, bell peppers jam. And we can sing this on text or on solfege. So in this activity, students are giving us the pattern that they want to use, and we are working as an ensemble to put this B section together. And there are several things that we are listening and watching for as we go through this process all together as a class. Now, for a very fun bonus, can you figure out with someone next to you how to write bluebells, cockle shells, Evie, ivy, over? Can you figure that out using these cards on the board? Students can turn and talk, figure it out. And our answer is ice cream, chocolate chips, cauliflower ice cream. So we can write the first phrase of this song with our melodic cells. That's fun to kind of mix everything up, make everything very, very different, and then find a way to put it together like a puzzle piece to make something familiar. So as students are working on this arranging activity, there are several things that we want to learn more about. Again, assessment is how we learn from students, how we can be a better teacher. So this is certainly a sound before sight approach. So it's important to me that everything we do here is grounded on an aural understanding and an aural embodiment of these musical concepts. I don't want us just to be moving around cards and then seeing what they sound like. So as students are demonstrating the different arrangements, do they sing them accurately? There are a few things that need to come together here in order for these cards to be sung accurately. First, I'm listening to the pitch. Do students actually sing the pitches they arranged, right? And then also, do they sing the correct pitch with the correct body solfege sign? Does that match what they are singing? And when they are doing the correct pitch and the body solfege sign, does that also match the correct label of solfege, right? So 3 things that have to kind of come together here simultaneously, which is a lot. And when students are not ready yet for an activity like this, often what we will hear is that they are going to give us a melody. They'll sing a melody with solfege that doesn't match the pitch that they are singing. So an example of that might be if we are singing chocolate chips, bell peppers. Students would sing, the correct answer is so mi, so la la. If students give us so mi, So, la, la. They're singing the correct syllable, but it doesn't match the pitch that they are giving us. Does that make sense? And that means that they are going off of what they see visually. They see that it's la, but la is not in their ears yet. They're still stuck on so and me, just in this example. So if that's what I observe from students, that is totally, totally fine, because it tells me that that's where they are. And that's the whole point of this, right? We assess students so they can teach us how to be better teachers. In these videos, we have looked at 3 different contexts for reviewing some musical ideas from the previous year. One example was for rhythm. Then in the next video, we did melody. And then today, we have done a summative invitation for both. And along the way, notice how many different pathways we used for students to review. Notice how many things that we asked students to do besides just show us that they had memorized the symbol for these concepts, or besides just reading the notation from the board. We were doing things like we were singing songs, we were playing games, we were passing to the steady beat, we were moving to the high and low melodic contour, we were speaking on rhythm syllables, we were singing on solfege, we were reading and orally identifying notation. We were figuring out some of these melodies and rhythms by ear. We had some melodic improvisation with the grocery store items in the passing game, right? We were writing on the hand staff. We were arranging rhythmic ostinati, and that means we were also working on part work skills. And then we were also doing some rhythmic arranging of a B section and melodic arranging of a B section, which means we were also working on form. I really like activities like this for review because it feels very in line with activities that students are used to already doing. It's a very seamless transition from singing the song and playing the game to extending it. And of course, the extension that we are doing here, in this case with the summative assessment, that gives us a lot of information about what students recall, but then also where we can go from here. It tells us if students are ready or how ready they are to move on to the rest of our scope and sequence for the rest of the year.